Hello. Welcome to episode 3 of Live, Laugh, Love Real Estate, Conversations with Lisa Loveland and Kosta Hantzis. Today, I think we have an interesting topic. We're going to talk about real estate versus reality TV.
Favorite topic.
I can't even sometimes bring myself to watch these shows. But, $1 Million Listing and all of these reality TV shows, everyone loves real estate. So, yes, the networks did a phenomenal job on, satisfying a need. But
Yep.
Is that realistic at all?
Remains to be seen.
Yeah, not so much. So I think what it's done, it's actually hurt our business because so many people watch this, and of course they're not out buying and selling homes every day, so they don't know what really goes on in the day-to-day of buying or of being a real estate agent. And I don't know, I've never, as long as I've been in the business, and I've been in a long time, I haven't been out to lunch having a glass of wine with a client, and all of a sudden my phone rings and it's the seller with our counter offer, and all of a sudden we just get to discuss it there and make that deal happen. Or I drive over with my offer and paper and we discuss it. It's interesting because the industry is going so high tech right now to create efficiencies, and
Right.
then these shows show this actual paperwork and driving to people's homes.
Just a coincidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Coincidentally, I
Happened to
just
be
happened
your
to be
neighbor. Happened
out
to
at dinner.
get the call. And it's interesting. It always works out, or else it gives a little dramatic flair. Now, the whole point of a real estate agent, one of their biggest jobs, is to take that drama and theatrics out of an already emotional sale. So the infighting and the bitchy performances and the heads are going to roll type of negotiating.
Right.
I know it doesn't happen in our markets, and I venture a bet that it doesn't happen in a lot of markets, but it
I would
makes
bet on
good
that.
TV.
Does make good TV for
Yeah.
sure. Like the Jersey Shore. There's so many different TV shows. That's $1 Million Listing, New York, LA.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Selling Sunset. Is that one of the newer ones?
Yes, I haven't seen Selling Sunset.
I've never watched it either.
Yeah.
I know somebody that I watch on YouTube, a guy named Graham Stefan, who does like finance stuff. He was on it as like a special guest, which was cool, but I just never watched it. But there's
Yeah.
just so many spin-offs. Flip This. There's Flipping Boston was a popular one.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just so many. It's the same thing with reality TV and anything. It's like before, like especially when I was younger, I used to be so like engulfed in that. I was like, oh, this is so like crazy. I can't believe this happens. And then like now I watch it and like whatever that is. I know my mom was a big what was it? Real Housewives. She still loves the Real Housewives. She just jokes around and says like, so I'm forced to watch it sometimes. And like most of the time when I was younger, I was like, this is just stupid. And I still think that too. But at the same time, there's just so many spinoffs, and it's just like now I watch it and it's like this stuff just like doesn't happen. It was more believable when I was younger. It's like
Right.
anything when you're younger is more believable. You're like, oh, this really happens, and a false perception of reality. Same thing with the real estate.
Yeah.
She used to watch $1 Million Listing, and that's one of the reasons why, not why I got into real estate, but one of the reasons why I kind of like procured my interest in real estate.
Right. Well, I mean, what I do love about it is seeing all the properties, especially
Right.
$1 Million Listing New York.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just stuff you'd never see. And
Right.
I guess it's kind of fun if you're not in the business to fantasize and think that that's actually how things get done. It's very glamorous, and but it really doesn't work that way.
No, unfortunately. Sometimes I wish it was that glamorous and stuff like that, but that's just not reality whatsoever.
No, it isn't.
Maybe
And-
in some people's heads that they like to think
Right.
that they're part of the, we see some things too, just wherever the market is or agents in different areas. Definitely you would assume or feel as though that they're on a TV show or something based upon social media and different things like that. But reality TV is pretty much social media, the older version of social media
Yeah.
amplified, and now it just took a different turn.
Right. Yeah. And that's interesting. It's expensive to do those types of shows, and it isn't expensive to do the Instagram and the videos and things that you can do on your own. So, as we've said before, it's kind of social media is leveling the playing field.
Exactly.
And I think what those original shows have kind of set a precedent for is that, your real estate agent pretty much has to, double as a movie star or supermodel,
Right.
in order to, sell your house for the highest dollar in the quickest amount of time.
Exactly.
And really, you couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, maybe those movie stars and supermodels would have great networks, and you certainly want your agent to have a network so they can properly expose your property.
Yep.
But my recommendation would be any agent, and you should look at a few different agents, but the ones that should go on your short list are the ones that know who the client is, put the client's needs before their own self-interests, have a good analysis of the analytics, understanding of the analytics of the market, and know how to market based on market conditions, different mediums for advertising, and understanding the profile of the buyer who would be for that particular, I'll call it a product,
right?
To take the emotion out.
Exactly.
But the product being your house.
Right. I think it was Ryan Serhant. I was listening to his new book. I think I've listened to both, like Sell It by Serhant. I get the audiobook versions of a lot of books I listened to. It was Sell It by Serhant, and then his new book is, I forget what it is, Big Money Energy. And he was talking about his time on $1 Million Listing, and how he got on the show. That's a whole story in itself, how he got on the show. But he pretty much portrayed himself as this larger than life person, even though he barely had any listings. Yeah. He had a rental and different things like that. But the funniest part was it, and what most people probably don't realize, is he thought as soon as the show aired, his email would be filled with emails of people, I want to buy from you, or phone calls to say, you be my real estate agent. I have all these properties I want you to sell. And the truth is, he said that didn't happen right away. It took a long time. I think he said it was like a year really before he started to see like different things kick in. But it goes to show you that he even himself like thought that the show, all this exposure would do that. But he was just like, then he thought about it. He's like, well, who's going to want to hire this reality TV real estate agent on this show?
It could be a double-edged sword. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It might not be taken seriously, but it certainly gives you a good way to present who you are. Although on a network television show, you're really not representing who you are. You have to do what the network wants you to, which is, I always find interesting about reality TV. You know, you can sit there and say, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. But everybody's watching it. So they're making these shows so that people will watch, and that's what the public is looking for. Right. So I'm not sure that says great things about us.
No. And they don't portray you the way they want to either. Everybody that's on reality TV after says, and I guess if you don't understand TV and production and things like that, they're usually filming for like a year of stuff, and they just take the little clips and then mash them together. So they can portray you in any way possible. Yeah. You could be there. Then Ryan said that actually in the thing too. He's like, in the beginning, he was this like playboy who's just an asshole pretty much on the show, and people would come up in the street and like yell at him and say, I hate you on that TV show. And he's like, but he's actually like, as it come to find out, if you didn't see him on the show, he's actually a pretty personable, fun, like down to earth guy who's just, the show wanted that out of him, so he did it like that, and they had to present him like that. And it can almost hurt your reputation sometimes if you're not able to kind of counter that and come back with the reality.
Right, because you're not actually forming your own brand. You're the brand of the television show, and unless it's very similar, yeah, that's absolutely true. Right. It could be detrimental.
I think the social media part you said before too is it's leveled the playing field. Mm-hmm. That's a huge, that Gary Vee talks about that all the time, about how TikTok now is a huge thing, how these kids pretty much that were just one video viral, and all of a sudden they're brand deals and this and that. Social media's done is pretty much cut out the middleman, the gatekeepers. You can go get this podcast equipment we see right here, the cameras, everything like that yourself. It's rather inexpensive. I mean, of course, like some of the gear is definitely pricey, but it's nothing out of reach that most general people can't work up to or save for and do and actually be a contender and compete with celebrities and actors.
It's amazing. I mean, what makes something go viral like that? Some of that stuff just seems so random. You know, I always wonder, what were they thinking when they did that? What was their plan? Did they have a strategy to go viral? Did it just happen?
Yeah.
I want our podcast to go viral.
Exactly. In time, we might have to throw in some reality TV drama in here.
Exactly.
Maybe start
some bomb drops, some music, some laugh tracks.
Exactly. If you have something here, there you go. The applause. This board is just complicated, but we should program some cool sounds in here. I think add to the addition of that. But yeah, social media, I think the making stuff go viral, sometimes it's done on purpose, sometimes it's not. A lot of the times, and people spend a lot of time kind of analyzing those content or those people creators that actually do go viral. And a lot of the times it's combining like relatableness is like the biggest thing of seeing somebody that's just like a normal person. Then it's also entertaining at the same time too. So it could be like a trending topic that somebody does. It's like a dance now, especially for TikTok. It could be a YouTube video in terms of like the biggest ones are like 0 to a millionaire. Like I did this, I made $1 million on Amazon FBA selling books or selling this. But specifically like the TikTok's the biggest thing right now. And these kids the thing is you don't realize too, if you don't like and I'm pretty interested in like, I played sports my entire life, 3 sports, basketball, baseball, and football in high school, but I was more, I wasn't the biggest fan of watching sports. I was more fascinated on the players and just like what they did outside of the sports, how they got there, like what did they do for fun, their training and different things like that. I'm more of a fan of the people, not the actual sport as a whole. And the same thing is with creators and YouTubers and different things. I like to look at like where they came from and truly understand, okay, did this person just come out of nowhere or it was just I forget the saying is, it's like overnight success that took like 10 years to come out.
You
didn't see them. But
a
lot of the times these kids on TikTok especially, they started on another platform called Musical.ly, which is another similar app. Vine was another similar one before that, but they've been doing it for a while and all of a sudden came on TikTok and these other things. Blew up on TikTok in terms of views and different things like that, but took that virality and that following and then went to YouTube, because it's very hard to grow organically and blow up off YouTube alone. Usually the people that do are somebody that was famous before. Like a lot of times like athletes start YouTube channels, or celebrities, but like Will Smith, or there's different ones. I think Jennifer Lopez too, like they didn't do YouTube before. They were just famous and then they started YouTube and all of a sudden they have 1 million followers overnight because they're already famous. So they already got that traction. It's hard to organically do that if you're not coming from somewhere before of having some sort of fame. If that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. I don't know that much about TikTok, but I know you're going to educate me on it.
TikTok, it's a wild app. It's changed from dancing to.
So for other people that are my age that might not be that familiar with TikTok, we're also, the group is marketing on, or marketing, or what do you do on TikTok?
So it depends on the different things you do, but for us on our TikTok account, we're just taking like because we're filming this in video form too and audio, and what we're doing is taking short little video clips. And what I do is I take the clip. If we talk about a certain topic that's interesting in itself, just take like a 1 minute, because TikTok, it can either be 15 seconds or up to a minute in content. So just take a little video clip from that, then post that little video clip from the episode on TikTok, which a lot of podcasts do, or a lot of YouTubers and different things do, is just recycle their content on there and post it and stuff. Still do organic TikTok stuff, but it's a great place to take if you're any sort of content creator or in business in general. Just take stuff that you already have and make short form content out of it. And what pretty much TikTok is just short little videos of anything. It could be dances, clips from movies.
And it vanishes, right? It doesn't stay up. It's like a story that goes away.
No, it stays up.
Oh, it stays up.
Snapchat is the one that doesn't, which is not as popular anymore. But that was created because the whole idea is Instagram and Facebook were there before Snapchat. But the issue was that you could send pictures, if you post to Instagram or Facebook, it stays up on there. Snapchat, on the other hand, you can send a Snapchat of a picture to somebody and it vanishes right away. So it's that form of communication that general people can't see. So unless you can see too, if like the thing is you can screenshot it, but if you screenshot, say somebody sends you something that they don't want getting out, they can see if you screenshot it, but there's different things that people do to get around those kind of workarounds. But Snapchat's whole idea was more privacy. TikTok is more just like a short form video place where you can do little short 1 minute clips. The whole thing about social media nowadays is quick content and really just short things, not like big, like this is a long form content podcast, which is also huge, because the thing is with podcasts is it's the only way that you can really get an organic feel. Like for example, Joe Rogan blew up because he had 2 to 3 hour conversations with famous people that you never really heard talk except for on stage athletes. And it was a way that they just sat down, had a conversation, and you could really gain a true understanding of who they were.
Right. And you're also going into a podcast with the expectation that it's going to be a little bit longer, and you can kind of turn it on in the background. So it's not like even a 3 minute video. Sometimes you're like, all right, when are you going to get to the end of it?
Right.
You know? Where do you think, which one of those platforms do you think is most effective in building your exposure?
I think for a while, TikTok, especially like a year ago, 2020 into like 2021, when it first started blowing up, you could make a video, have no followers, and all of a sudden blow up, have 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, up to 1 million sometimes. And that was a place where you could just quickly grow. I think now it's kind of a mix. Now you got to do kind of everything. You got to be on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. You should kind of put yourself everywhere. Sometimes I think TikTok still has some momentum because there's still people that out of nowhere gain millions of followers and just because of somewhere. I think it's just that whole relatable thing. It's different in terms of the business space. Business is not as flashy and entertaining as like dance videos and like hype videos of different things like that, or goofy, funny stuff that doesn't appeal to everybody. More of the funny stuff is an easier platform to go viral on TikTok. So I'd still say TikTok's pretty huge. LinkedIn's a great place for business still.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you get your eyes and a lot of views. Instagram's slowly dying a little bit. It's not as popular as it was before, but it's still a platform that everybody still uses just to do stuff. But I think what Instagram and Facebook, now that they're owned together. So I think that they will definitely bring some new innovations to the table. They've already did Instagram Reels, which is a competitor of TikTok. They did Instagram Stories way back, which is pretty much taking Snapchat's idea of doing stories. And then they brought it, and all of a sudden Snapchat lost huge market share because of it.
It's interesting. Do you think, so these platforms don't stay around that long?
Yeah.
You know, is it the public's always need for something bigger and better and faster and funnier, or why do you think the viewership changes so quickly?
That's definitely, it's honestly tough to give one catalyst. I definitely think the short-term videos have been coming for a while. That's why TikTok blew up, because like 10-minute YouTube videos are like, nobody has time for 10 minutes, but you have time for a quick dopamine hit of a 15-second clip.
Right.
And I think it's definitely that new age thing that people always want new. They always want better or different. They get satisfied with the same stuff. Especially nowadays, we have so many different options in terms of technology. You can do anything really. And I think sometimes it's just luck. Sometimes it's just where the market is, trends are going. And I think the ones that are always adapting, like Instagram and Facebook, I think they'll always be around. It might not be as popular as they were when they first came out or some years ago. But I definitely think those will stay. Facebook will stay. And it kind of just depends on what is new. I guess the younger generation has definitely influenced it, and that's seen a lot, is these younger TikTokers and little different YouTubers and stuff like that are competing with celebrities and athletes. They're the new actors.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be an actor. I want to be a social media influencer. That's the new saying with kids nowadays.
Yeah.
I think they do still want to be actors and like models. That's a big thing that they want to do, but it's a different way to fame now. It's not as, you have to go through a talent agency and different things like that. And pretty much what that does too is, if you think like that, you'll never really do anything, because if you're just like, oh, I need an agent to do this, or a talent agent, or a record deal to do that. No, you don't. You can make your own music, buy the gear yourself, record at your house if you're a musician, or say you're a rapper. You want to record, buy the recording gear at your house. You don't even have to pay a studio. You don't have to go to a big old studio. You can do it on your laptop. You can post it on SoundCloud.
It's industry changing. It's
crazy. So we'll see. I think there's definitely unique catalysts that play a part in it. And I definitely think there'll always be like a new thing that comes and goes. Like TikTok's new, Vine stayed for a bit, musically that went, but I think there'll always be a different little platform with that. Triller's a big one too. Like the YouTube, the boxing is huge now. Like boxing is making a comeback because these YouTubers and TikTok stars are starting to box each other as a money making thing, which is just, it's bringing the sport of boxing back. Maybe not in the best way for the boxing community and fans, but all of a sudden you have your favorite YouTuber boxing your other favorite YouTuber. Yeah. And they're making a lot of money off of it. So that could be a form too. You could real estate agent boxing matches. that could be a seller.
That would actually be hilarious.
That might be. I don't know if that'd be the best idea, but hey, I'm certainly, sometimes they probably do want to box each other.
Exactly.
To win and make money off of it.
Yeah.
But social media is changing. It's just, you have to be ready to adapt and spread yourself across the different things. Have the good form content, have good content, and you can always adapt to the different things and stay on top of things. So we shall see in terms of social media.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to, kind of watch the analytics on what kind of engagement you get with what type of post.
Right.
I mean, everyone likes a dog post.
Yes.
But we've got to figure ways we can really get engagement with real estate.
Exactly.
And what's going to keep people tuned in. To long forms like we have here, and then to our regular marketing on the other channels.
Right.
But yeah, it's an exciting time to be doing this kind of analysis and marketing and being creative. And I'm not good with technology. You're fantastic at technology, even though I sold technology my whole career before I got into real estate.
Right.
I always had somebody else to do the installs.
Yeah.
I could speak the concepts.
That's definitely a big question right there, is which I kind of took a fascination to, is how to make real estate appeal to everybody. Because you notice on Instagram is usually if you post pictures of a listing, for example, or some sort of real estate related content, I look at other accounts just to see in analytics, is those views, those posts don't really get as many likes as, like, for example, like you taking a picture of yourself out at dinner with your family or different things like that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those ones get a couple hundred likes. Then you post a picture of, like, just closed on this or sold a house, look at my listing, or brand new listing, that gets like 20, 30, 50 likes. And I think, I don't know if it's the algorithms and Instagrams and Facebook and just different things like that, but I think it's more of people are more interested in you as a person. The listings and different things like that are cool. I don't know if it's a jealousy thing sometimes too. Sometimes people see other listings and they see other agents doing well, or people in general doing well, and all of a sudden they don't want to like those posts because they look at that as competition, or to say, oh, look, this person's doing so much.
Bloviating, yeah. And, that's a tough balance too, because our job is to let people know that we are in business, and they need to understand that we do good business, and it's not that hopefully people don't think that's just all about us and the agent. It is important to understand, what's going under agreement, who's selling what, and that the person that you might be considering working with actually is out there, doing stuff. And then the challenge is to try to figure out what people are going to want other than that. Okay, so we see that you guys are doing business. That's it. Now, what's the other interesting creative content? Where's the hook? Where's the trigger for them? And we're still, trying to figure all that stuff out. What people really want to see, and what's going to make them not just like us, but to engage in comments. So it's one thing to follow, and it's another thing to actually have engaging content,
right?
Where people we're having two-way conversations.
My gut analysis, of course, this is just our opinions and when it comes to different things like that, but I think people are so hesitant to engage with content sometimes, especially if it's like a lot of the posts. We kind of shifted our posts more to always asking for a CTA, a call to action of like, hey, interested in buying, hey, interested in selling, reach out. A lot of the times you see in any business, and it's different product-based businesses because that's a different marketing approach, but especially to real estate as more of like a service-based business. If you post on your story, and a lot of people do this, is like looking to buy or sell, DM me, or looking to do this, DM me. Every single post is reach out to me. And the thing is people don't want to reach out to you really until they're ready to do so.
Yep.
And that still needs to be said too, because you could catch somebody at the right time, and they finally they're like, okay, it's time to buy. And you posted something on your story that says, hey, reach out to me if you're interested in buying. And we don't do it personally. It's not like we're on there like typing up a post being like, oh, I can't wait. I'm going to send this post out, and just everybody's going to like this, and everybody's looking to buy, and everybody's just going to be like, you know what? Raise my hand. I am looking to buy.
I'm ready to. It's just
thank you for
timing.
asking.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just like, you wish that happened, because like a lot of the times, like our intentions are when we post, it's like, hey, if you're looking to, we try to frame it in the best way. And it's just like pretty much taking your philosophies as you taught me and putting it in more of a social media form where people can see it on a greater scale. And it's the same concept of, hey, is like, we're not here to bombard you with questions. We're not going to call you all the time and say, have you made a decision? Have you done this? Have you done that? No, that's just not how we operate. We truly do want to help. And just, if you have a question about something and you're not even looking for buying, like that's fine. Like we'll help you out. It's not like we don't owe us anything.
No. And it's honestly, everyone, for the agent, it's an exhausting process to ask dead end. Everyone says, ask open-ended questions. Yes. But if somebody doesn't have an interest, we're not going to change their mind. So we don't want to waste our time trying to get you into a corner just to say yes. Right. I remember when I first started, none of this stuff was around. We did mailers, and I didn't have any listings. I'd do open houses for people. But I got these really cool cards that were flashy, and it wasn't really about real estate. They just looked like art. And I would mail them. And I'd be at parties, and somebody introduced me, Lisa Loveland, the realtor. I'm like, yeah. Oh, we see your signs all over. And I'd be like, really?
Right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say thank you so much. But my signs weren't all over. I didn't have that much business, but they saw my cards.
Yeah.
So they just registered. They saw my card and they threw it out, but it registered in their mind that who I was and what I did. They don't remember exactly where they saw it. So that's another reason why it's good to be in all these different mediums, because people just get used to seeing your name. And if they're liking what they see and hear, you can start to build that relationship without even really having a conversation. And then when that postcard came to someone and they were ready, they didn't throw it out, and they reached out. So the reaching out is in a different way now, but it's always so interesting. The rules never change. The medium changes, but
right.
The rules are pretty much the same as to what we need to do in order to build a good business or personal relationship with our clients.
Absolutely. Definitely not a lot of things have changed in regards to anything. They've just kind of, as you said, adapted into a different form, like reality TV, and that's social media now. It's like not reality TV is still popular, but not as popular. Social media is more taken over, but still people see authority. If you're on a TV show, it's like, oh my God, that person's on TV. The weatherman, his credibility, he's on TV.
Right.
They're wrong most of the time, but
yes.
hey, they're on TV, so he must know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But it's like the biggest change I see is the whole like billboard advertising and the park bench advertising with your face, or you walk down the corner, you see one of those, I don't even know what they're called, like the columns where it has like a painting or like some sort of picture on it of like looking to buy or sell, like contact me, your favorite agent, or a big poster. Gary Vee jokes around and is like, nobody cares about your billboard, Barry, like you're in your suit and stuff like that. And it's like the picture on everything. I'm personally like, and we don't do it, we're not a fan of like slapping our face on every, like a lot of times you see like a just listed and it's like their agent's face covering up half the thing. It's just like, it's kind of cringe at the same time too. I guess some people don't intentionally do it on purpose. It's just more like that's what's been told and that's what to do.
Right.
Which is just kind of, it makes it seem like, as we talked about, and we talked about actually probably the past 2 episodes, it makes it seem like this is about us and we're just the people that this is all about us. We want something out of you, the clients, and that's the furthest thing from the truth, especially for us. I mean, we can only, as I said before, we can only speak about us and our intentions, but we're not here to just put our face over and have our egos just be patted on the back all the time too. Right. We're actually
But feel free to pat us on the back if you want.
I'll take it.
We respond well. But no, it's all about satisfying the needs of the buyers and sellers that we work with. And it makes it fun.
Yeah.
When you make something about you, that becomes boring. You have to love yourself and be, comfortable within your own skin. But, and I think you can't really be effective in a sales position if you don't. I always say you've got to be pretty well processed or an addict. Right. Because you're chasing a lot of things out there, and you gotta have a lot of energy and not be afraid to, totally get rejected. And, when you think about all the things you go through as a salesperson, you wonder why anyone would ever want to do it. But it's fun, and the strategy is fun, and the negotiating is fun. And, just, you can tell when you've connected with someone. You can see them relax. You can see it in their eyes. Yep. And that's, I say this all the time. There's so many different wins in this process. And that's, aside from getting an offer accepted, but seeing in someone's eyes that they finally connected and they trusted you is a ginormous win. Because then you're both on the same page, you're trusting each other, the communication is going to be good, they're going to be able to tell you what their bottom line is, so we can put together the most effective strategy for them, and you have a loyal client.
Yeah. I think it's the funniest thing too is when I really got started in terms of the adult life, in terms of work and different things like that, doing leasing where I started, it was more of the driving factor and like my excitement and like the adrenaline rush, and it was not like me thinking about the money at the end of the table. Like, okay, if I do this, then I'm going to have a commission. Okay, and the same thing as real estate. That is still not the driver. I have so much more fun just wanting to win. Right. The process of finding somebody the place and having them have a great experience and do something like that, and really getting the home, especially now in terms of the market being low inventories, winning the offer, getting the offer accepted, and then finding this person a home, whether it's buying or selling. That is the excitement. The excitement's not, I don't even think about the money really that comes after, but it's like, I remember I don't consider myself, I think it's a good thing at the same time too, to not be always attached to the outcome. Of course, the money will come along, but that comes along one of my favorite quotes that you said before, not on the podcast in general, is we're not happy unless our clients are happy.
Right.
Because we don't get paid till our clients are happy.
Yeah. And I always say this too. Money's just an energetic exchange.
Yeah.
So it's going to come unless you block it. And the best way to block it is to make it about you and not see what's in front of you as far as a process and a path. So when you're in a good flow, and you're not completely in your own self-interest, stuff just happens. And I've said it before, I say it all the time. I said it on one of the first podcasts, set strong intentions and let go detach yourself from the outcome. That's the beautiful thing about life.
Yeah.
We can plan all the livelong day, and we get there in the strangest of ways, but we always get there. We just don't always know what path is going to take us there. And if we don't, you've got to pivot and change, but it makes it exciting. But for the most part, when we've done our work and we've set a plan and we'd let it go, not the plan, but let go how we're going to get there, we enjoy the ride.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned in just my short amount of time of really just...
On this planet? Your short amount of time on this planet?
24 years on. I would guess the beginning stages.
Or the business, yeah.
I would say more of like the time I really got fixated on self-development and just business as a whole. I always had energy to bring, whether that was music, I devoted my energy to. Always business. I used to buy and sell stuff. I still do. That was my kind of entrepreneurial start and different things like that too. But it's just, you realize that you can have a plan, like a ABC, and a lot of the times when you get into real estate, it's like, okay, you got to make this many calls or do this, or that's what's taught, or like this is the way to do it. But the thing is, a lot of the times is that's the way it's been done maybe in the past, but that's not necessarily the best way to do it. I just finished a book by Jesse Itzler called Living with a Seal. I just finished it last night. Unbelievable book. It was about him, how he lived with a seal. David Goggins, who's a popular person now, he actually in the book didn't mention his name until the very end, introduced him. Wow. He just referred to him as Seal throughout the book. But he had a Navy SEAL live with him for 30 days, and Jesse is co-founder of Marquis Jet, Zico Coconut Water, part owner of the Atlanta Hawks. And the biggest thing he says is he doesn't believe in resumes, was one of the things. He believes in life resumes in terms of experiences and what you did like that. Even somebody that has all that money still thinks like that.
That's awesome, because it is so true. When you can think of your life experiences that you have that bring to the table to problem solve, that's better than a business degree. You can have a business degree and not have had any real life execution on it. But like playing sports, who doesn't want to hire a Division I athlete?
Yeah,
they're disciplined. They stick to it. My coach used to, I was a runner. He said, you got to run through the finish line. And so that bringing that mindset in, and all those skills are transferable into business.
Absolutely.
You're also managing your emotions. You're pacing yourself. There's so much that and plus just the athletics of just being in good shape. Gets the endorphins going, gets your blood flowing, gets oxygen, gets rid of tons of stress. So you clear up mental space and physical, energetic space to actually be present.
Right.
And like we said on the last podcast, if you're not present, you're not really listening. So if you're not listening, you're not hearing. If you're not hearing, you can't, you got to do a couple things. You got to be 5 steps ahead of the conversation, because you need to know where you want to take someone in a negotiation. But if you're not listening, if you're not able to multitask and be present, takes you a lot longer to get to that end result.
Definitely. A lot of lessons. That's definitely a book too. Again, I'll try to put something in the description below. There's a lot of lessons from that book. It's Living with a Seal by Jesse Itzler. It's honestly, it's one of the best. It's more of it's nonfiction, but it's not necessarily a business book. It's more of a mindset and just learning from his experiences. And that's one of the biggest things is to learn. There's so much, you can go on YouTube and social media and different things like nowadays and read and different things like that and really gain a true perspective of how other people that you maybe admire went through life. And the thing is, you realize you read these books and you're like, that person's like a normal person. They do the same stuff. Like, what do you mean? They're not God. Like, some people look up to athletes, they wear their jerseys, look up to celebrities and musicians, like they're just not real people. And it's like, they're just worked hard and things like that. And I think he talked about too was the whole idea of, before kind of social media and different things like that, you just assume that these people were super God-gifted, talented, out of nowhere, but they just rose to fame. But the truth is that they worked their asses off. And
there's always a backstory.
Always.
It's just like you didn't have that phenomenal body by not working out and eating right. You know, you didn't, unless you're incredibly gifted, you know, or you're of a certain age.
Right.
And the same thing, you didn't get to be a successful person. Continually. Anyone can have anyone can have a good 3 years. And that can be lucky. But for people that have started from one place and have had success in multiple areas of their life for extended periods, you know, that they had a method. They had a strategy. And no doubt they had a lot of failures, a lot of rejection, and that's what makes us grow. If we're not pushed back upon, how do we push our limits? How do we look inside and see if this is actually something that, you know, goes along with my ethics, my integrity, who I am as a person? You know, society gives us a lot of rules we need to follow. I think people spend so much time, so much concern worrying about whether they're doing the right thing as far as what society does. Well, what's society anyway? Are they having dinner with you? No. So you got to get rid of the shoulds, go inside, think about who you want to be, what do you want to be remembered by, how do you want to live each day? And I would say, if you have any question at all, just have your default be kind, be the kinder, gentler version of yourself. And that will always work. It's almost like your breath, like just breathe a bit. If you don't know where you're going, just chill out, be kind, relax, and it will come to you.
Absolutely. I think that's a bomb dropped right there. Don't think I can even talk off that or speak up on that point, but I think that's a pretty good place to end the episode. Is there anything else you want to say? Give a little teaser of what's coming up in the next episode?
Yeah, so the next episode we're going to, we've got a whole little few episodes planned, which it's going to be fun. So our next one, we want to talk about, you know, what's actually involved in the real estate agent's job. I think so many people don't really understand that, and I think so many times agents don't do a good job of telling you what we do, for a number of reasons. One, you hired us to make it a smooth and seamless transaction, but when that happens, oftentimes, why do I have to pay you this much?
Right.
X percent of the deal, and what did you do?
Especially now when it happens like so quick sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we did a lot. There's a lot of stuff we manage behind the scenes.
That's why it happens so quickly.
That's right. There's a lot of de-escalation that happens, and so we're not going to tell you that every time we're in front of you as our seller client or buyer client. So in a podcast, it's a safe place to talk about actually why you're paying that fee to a real estate agent. It doesn't all go to the agent, but why you're paying it to their company. And I'm telling you, and it's not because we're in the business, the best money you can ever spend is on a good real estate agent. 5-6%, whatever your commission is. I mean, you're by far getting that more in the market by using an agent. Absolutely. So that's going to be our next episode. And then we're going to do, this is going to be a fun one. Everybody's got a guy. Oh, that's episode 5. I got a guy. You know, everyone has the Uncle Joe. As soon as you buy a house, everyone's a real estate expert. You know, so that's gonna be one, and then we're gonna have a do not enter, what not to do after your offer has been accepted, and then you have landed safely. That is, your offer is accepted, and what are the next stages that buyers and sellers kind of go through. And then we have 2 more, but we'll leave that up for a surprise. So we really love that you've joined us, and we hope you join us next time for episode 4. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.